everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make something that is missing in this chair, and I have my reference picture right here. So if you don't know this little guy, this is the cat from the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, and I'm pretty sure he is a Cheshire cat. If that's wrong, well then please forgive me. So I am going to make the little cat here. First of all, I am taking some tin foil for the body and I am folding it around until I have the shape that I like for his body, and that's gonna be here on the seat. So I'm making sure it actually is going to fit there. You don't want to make it too big, but you don't want to make this little cat too small either. When I'm happy with the size of the body, I am taking this pink polymer clay. Actually, it's a fuchsia color, I think it was. And I'm running that through my pasta machine in a setting 6, I think that was. And then I am actually wrapping that around my tin foil here, and I'm making sure I wrap it really neat all the way around so that I do not have any tin foil that is visible. I worked on this a long time and I was doing what I could to make sure that connection was not visible on this. Actually, it doesn't really mean that much because we are going to place a fur on all of this later, but if you have a nice start point for the cat, it's easier to make the fur look really nice. And when I'm happy with the body here, I am going in with again a piece of this colored clay here and making the tail. And I want this tail to be really nice, thick and fluffy. So the shape of the tail is kind of a diamond shape, or more like a cone shape in each end, where the end that is connected to the body is a long, thinner cone shape, and the end of the tail is a smaller, thicker cone shape. I don't know how else I should explain that, so please just watch what I'm doing. And I'm making sure that everything fits in the chair. I'm taking a needle tool and I'm poking 2 holes into the clay before I bake this, because if I don't do this, the clay will kind of bubble up because of the air that is in the tin foil. You won't see these holes later, so don't worry about them. Then I took some yellow clay and I rolled 2 balls out of that for the eyes. And I made sure that they have around the same size. Here we have some opaque white clay, and I am going to make the teeth for Cheshire the cat. And I'm making this big grin, and then I'm using a needle tool to make the lines for the teeth. And I'm working on this for a few minutes as well, so that I'm happy with it before I bake all these parts together. So now I am back with the tin foil and I am trying to create the shape of the head that I want to, so that there is room for the teeth and the eyes and stuff like that. And with the tin foil I have something inside my clay, so I don't have to use all my clay to make the head. Then I roll my clay out on my pasta machine again. I think it was in a setting 5 or 6. And I'm making sure I know where the teeth are going. So I am cutting room for that in my clay. And this next part is kind of fiddly and it took me a long time, so I am actually going to remove a lot of the footage here, but it took me a very long time because I am going to take this clay and the teeth and place that on my tinfoil ball here, and then I am wrapping it around the ball, making sure that the clay is connected nicely to the baked teeth so that they will not stick out on top of the clay but be in the clay. And this took quite a lot of time to shape this clay around the tinfoil. So when I was happy with that, I took a piece of clay and I shaped that for the top part of the head. So this is only the teeth part, but we need the top part of the head where the eyes and the ears are gonna go. And I am going to shape that out of a little piece of extra clay and place that on top of the mouthpiece here. I am smoothing out the connections so that you don't see where it is put together. Again, it's not 100% necessary, but if your base cat is looking really great, then it's easier to make the fur later. And I am making an indent here on top of this piece of clay because the cat is kind of having the indent down there, just like this. So I'm shaping that until I'm happy with the shape here. Now it's time for the eyes, and I decided to just take one of these balls and cut it in half. Be careful with your fingers if you do this, because the clay is kind of hard. And then I am using a tiny bit of bacon bond to make sure everything is connected when I'm ready to connect the eyes. I'm using bacon bond because it's more like a glue than fimo liquid, because fimo liquid can make your things slide around, so baking stuff will slide around on the unbaken if you have the liquid part, but this bacon bond is more grippy like glue, so it will stay a little better in place until you're going to bake it. So that's the reason for my bacon bond. And then I am going to shape a tiny nose for this little kitten because he has a nose as well. And I do that out of the same colored clay, and I'm just going to sculpt that until I'm happy with it. Before I place the nose, I rolled out a piece of clay in a long thin snake, and I'm going to use that around the mouth as the lips for the cat. I am smoothing out the connection between the lips here and the face itself. I am making sure that it is still rounded or curled over the teeth so it looks more realistic. Then I am taking two pieces of the clay here and I'm placing them right under the eyes, kind of like the nose or those cheeks under the nose. And I am again softening that out, smoothing it out into the face, making sure that I have that line going from the eyes and down to the teeth here. And when I'm happy with the result here, I am placing my nose. Again, I had a tiny bit of bacon bond that I want to place underneath here. I actually just placed it without first, but I decided I need the bacon bond here. So I'm taking a tiny bit of that, placing it on the clay, and then I am placing the nose in place, and now we just need the ears. I am just going to make sure that he fits in the chair and it looks perfect. I really like this. And then I actually put on some Bic and Bond right here on the body, and I wanted the head to sit there, but it will not stay. So I gave up on that and I glued the two parts together when it was all baked. I used my needle tool to make sure that there was two holes into the tin foil that is inside the head, so again that my clay is not bubbling while baking. Now it's time for the ears. I took a piece of clay and I rolled that through my pasta machine again, and now I am just cutting out the two ears like I want them, and I'm shaping them by pinching the bottom part of the ears together, and then I am placing it on top of these pieces on the head, these two bumps he has right there, and here goes his head down. So pinching the bottom part of the ears together, just like that. Doing the same with the other one. Pinching it together at the bottom, right there. Making sure I have the shape that I like. And then I am going to place them on top of his head, making sure they're sitting like they do in the cartoon. So that was why I just had my phone beside me here to make sure. And then I'm just softening everything together here, making sure you don't see the connection. This way it will also stick a bit better after baking. And when I'm happy with that, when I have both ears on, I am going to bake everything one more time. So I am just super gluing the head on in the place that I want it to. And then I wait for that to harden before I continue. I have this nice pink and lilac yarn here, and I am wrapping the pink one around my hand a few times, and then I am cutting it open in one end, and for some reason I am totally off frame doing that, and then I am cutting tiny pieces of this yarn for kind of a flock look that I can glue on the face of the cat. I'm using my tacky glue to glue around the mouth, and I'm on the lips as well, just not on the inside of them. And then when I have the glue all spread out here around the face, then I'm going to take my flock that I made myself and I'm going to place that into the glue, so I'm sure that there is enough of that all over. When I'm happy with that, I am going to glue the inner ears also, and again pop some flock in there so that the ears are nice and fluffy on the inside. Then I wrapped the lilac or the purple color around my hands around 8-9 times, and I cut it open in one end, and I'm going to fluff that end up and then cut off a tiny piece of that. So the end that I am cutting off, I'm holding that firmly between my fingers. Then I am placing some glue here on the kitty where I want my fur to go, and I'm placing this little bundle of threads into the glue just like that, making sure that all my ends are actually in the glue. And then I'm gonna do this over and over and over again. I am taking the thread that I wrapped here, and actually that's just long pieces of thread, and I'm softening up one end of that thread and making sure it is looking like fur, Then I am cutting off that top of the thread, and then I'm gluing it onto my cat. Just like this. So I'm going to speed this up and put some music on so you can see some of the process. This took ages to do because I am doing a few centimeters at the time. Then I'm taking a break, making sure all my glue is hardened before I continue. Otherwise I risk peeling off all the fur that I have. And here and there I have to cut down the fur to the size that I want it to be able to put in the new fur. But let's put on some music and just keep watching. And here we finally have the last trim of this little cat here. And I'm really taking my time with this, making sure everything is looking like I want it to. And I'm really happy about him. I'm using my black paint here from Vallejo to make the eyes, because we want to give him a little life. And I'm doing that with the help from a dotting tool, because that's easier than a paintbrush, because it has this round end, so you get a nice round dot in the eyes. I want a really nice shine on the eyes and on the teeth, so I am using my nail UV resins top coat here. It is a non-wipe, so it's a non-stick, and I'm just trying to get that into all the nooks and crannies, and it's easier with this little piece of tip thingy tool here. I found that on eBay, I think. And it's easier to get into all the small details with this one. And when I'm happy, I am using my UV light to harden this. And there he is. I just need to put him on the chair and place him into the scenery. And that is all for this cat. It was a long build, and I tried to cut it so you could see as much as possible. I hope it was not all too confusing to watch. The back of his head is all purple, the ears is purple, and the tail and the body is striped with the purple and the pink. So let me show you a few pictures of him in the chair, and then the chairs in place. And I think that is it for this Mad Hatter's Tea Party. But this was a lot of fun to make, and I think this cat here is just perfect for the teapot and the tea party. I am not going to make more in this teapot, because I think that I got all the details in there that I really wanted. I had a lot of fun with this one. Thank you to everyone that had ideas for me for things to put in there. Thank you all for seeing this little series that I made here for Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. I had a great time. I hope you did too. And I will see you next week with another project. Love you all, and happy crafting.